Hello, happy Tuesday. Welcome to What's Brewing Behind the Scenes. I'm Julie Wilhite. I am a portrait and brand photographer and business mentor that, is based in Austin, Texas. And this is my What's Brewing Behind the Scenes. I can't even talk today. It's Tuesday, right? Is it Friday? Is it Monday? I have no idea. But yeah, today I'm actually going to talk about something really specific. So when I did my live a couple weeks ago, I talked a little bit about kind of like business planning and dreaming and creating actionable goals in my business. And I got so many amazing questions about it. And I also discovered that I really like to talk about it. It's something that I've been really intentional with and have really been working hard on this year. And I feel like I'm starting to finally hit my groove in how I am creating goals for my business and how do I actually make them happen. So I actually just celebrated 11 years of my business, which is crazy. And in 11 years, I want to say this is the first year that I really created bigger goals for myself. I think in my first 10 years of business and, the first few years, I was definitely concentrating on how to have a good, be good at my craft and be a better photographer. And what I think I was missing was, yes, let's be really good at our craft, but then how do we grow as a business and how do I dream bigger for my business, right? Like sometimes I feel like I limited myself by only kind of listening to my own intuition or the own voice in my head, right? I only know so much and I only know what I know in order to implement. So if I'm learning from other people and, benefiting from other geniuses and smart people who are doing things, I can kind of broaden my own perspective and kind of broaden those goals for myself. So this year, 2019, I say this all the time, is my year of intention. The fact that I'm still saying that in July makes me really proud. So many years before, I would be like, this year is the year of blah, 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 blah. And then in July, I'd be like, what was my word again? I didn't even really know what that word is. But I really, truly tried to live each day by that word of intention and do everything that I'm doing with intention. And the great thing about that has been, not only am I implementing things within my business life, but I'm also working hard to make my personal life better. And I feel like they kind of go together at the same time. My goal has always been that I want to have a life that I want to make my life and my dream for my life come true. And a piece of that is my business and the goals I have for my business. But that's not all, right? I want to be a certain kind of mother, and I want to be a certain kind of wife, and I want to be a certain kind of friend or family member. And all of those, what I've really tried to do is that creating goals for not only my business in order to have my business reach the levels that I want it to reach, but then I also want my life to reach the certain levels I want it to reach as well. Does that make sense? So I've really looked at it in a holistic perspective of, all right, let's not even just make the dreams that I have for my business come true and just concentrate on that, but I also want my dreams for my life to come true as well. So we're gonna talk about step-by-step what I'm currently doing. Now, am I an expert right now, I would say, at dream, goal setting and all this kinds of stuff? No, but I have created a system currently that is really working for me. And I also want to hear what's working for you as well, because I'm always adjusting. I'm actually going to talk about how, if you guys saw my Instagram stories, I just got a new journal that I'm working on. It's been my day 2 that I've done it. And, so I'm always trying to look for new tools to even take me even further. So, but first, I'm going to make my coffee. So let me go get my hot water. That was a lot of information in a very short amount of time. Can you guys tell I've already had quite a bit of coffee today? I've already had 2 cups of coffee, so I'm actually gonna make a lighter cup of coffee right now just because I'm already on another plane right now because of my caffeine intake. I actually just met up with a couple friends of mine. Just had a moment where I was like, is this a new cup of coffee? A new cup, a mug? I met up with a couple friends of mine this morning and had a brainstorming session. So at Manana, at my favorite new coffee shop right now, or not new coffee shop, but coffee shop right now, new for me. And so my mind is literally like on another level, which is great, right? Meeting up with other people and being able to brainstorm with them and broaden. Like, I'm a very specific person. I do dream, but I'm actually a little bit better at, I would say, implementing those dreams once I fully embrace the fact that I'm going to make them happen. I like to figure out the work plan and the steps in order to make things happen. I'm not as good about sometimes dreaming, or sometimes I limit my own dreams by my own perspective of what I think is possible. Does anybody else do that? I definitely have learned in the past year on this journey of mine that I need to broaden my perspective. I need to broaden my dreams, because I feel like I've always limited my dreams to what I know to be possible, which is absolutely limiting myself, right? Like, part of the, if you create, who said this? Is this Brendan Bouchard? But basically said that you should be creating dreams for skills that you do not already currently have, right? So let me repeat that. You're gonna create dreams for yourself that you do not currently have the skills to implement, because then therefore you have to go out, you have to get new skills, you have to do all of these things in order to make these dreams come true. If you are creating dreams that you already have the skills to implement, you're not dreaming big enough. That was a huge game changer for me, because that makes me slightly uncomfortable, right? I'm all like, that's creating expectations that I might not be able to meet, or that I worry that I'm going to fail at, which is, a whole other discussion about mindset and not being scared about the unknown, or knowing that everything is, let's take a quote from Marie Forleo, everything is figureoutable. Which I love that. It's so true. The more I do this, the more I realize that dream bigger, and you're going to be able to figure out how to make that dream come true, even if right now you don't know the skills or have the current know-how or tools to do that. It's kind of part of the fun, right? More water. Are you guys having a good Tuesday? How are you doing today? I feel like we're in summer right now for sure, right? This is mid-July. It is very hot right now. Whenever there's a rainy day, yesterday was a little bit cloudy and a little bit rainy. It's kind of like, because it's not as hot. And it's also like foreseeing the fact that next month is August, which is just scary. I'm gonna go put this in my sink because I forgot to bring a plate over. Have you guys had good summer plans? I have actually, hello. I have been having a good summer, but I'm also really excited that the month of August, I took off from weddings, which I'm really excited to just dive into some of my other big goals that I'm doing, right? So my goal right now is not to overwhelm myself with things, because I'm already like, oh, I'll do that in August. Oh, I'll make that happen then. So we're going to talk about how I really am planning this and making this all happen. What my current way of creating actionable goals is for me. And this is, again, I'm just going to say it again because it bears repeating that this is a work in progress. Do you guys like that? I'm wearing a dark gray dress, so it is adjusting the exposure for my dress and not for my face. Come on, Instagram, camera, choose my face. Okay, so the first thing we're going to talk about, and this is all, I want to say to plug my newsletter. You guys know, go to my website, juliewillhite.com, scroll to the bottom. If I scroll back a little bit, will it figure it out? It really wants me to just stand all the way back here. I'll just crouch like this over my table. So yes, this is all laid out in my newsletter that I sent out this week, what I'm going to talk about right now. And then I'm also going to make a blog post about it because I want a place for you, for me to refer back to as to like a step-by-step plan for how I'm currently doing this. So that if you're like, oh my gosh, I'm feeling overwhelmed, or I'm feeling like I need to implement something, a strategy, then you can go to this and you can do what I'm doing or customize it, make it your own. So first I want to talk about, I'm still going to give a shout out to Rachel Hollis because I have been touting the Start Today journal. I did get it, when did I get it? I think I started in April. Yeah, April 16th was my first day. So, and I already done a lot of work on myself and kind of creating that, like what is my vision for my future? What do I want my life to look like in 5 years and 10 years? And I've done some of this before, but when I got the Start to Date journal, it was kind of like, all right, like let's put this down in words and let's really hone in on things that I love, things I've loved in the past, that maybe I've let go of since I've had children, since I've had a business, what am I? Let's try and find that whole piece of myself and what I want my life to truly look like. So now I always have this visualization of me in a house. It's kind of a mid-century house. One of my dreams is to own a home in Mount Benallo, in a mid-century home in Mount Benallo that my husband renovates. Don't tell him that, he doesn't know that renovation part. But he's gonna make it gorgeous. And yeah, so I visualize myself in the living room space, in the morning light, looking out at our backyard, which is beautiful and green and has different parts for definitely a hammock, definitely relaxing. And that visualization is of me in the morning. Of course, I'm drinking a cup of coffee, you guys, because that's what I do. That's what's my happy place. So really taking time away. I went on a business trip at the beginning of the year. I want to say it was around February, and that is when I first did this exercise. I actually created a visual mood board for it. And then I took another business trip away and we did the Enneagram test, which you have not done the Enneagram test, please do it now. I am a type 1, which is a perfectionist, which I had no idea that I was. I definitely think that's something I've grown into as an adult. I was listening to a podcast recently talking about how perfectionism is like a sickness of women and how we have crazy expectations for ourselves. We'll talk about that more later. But so I really, in that first trip, started this journey of visualizing what my future was. And then when I got the Start Today journal from Rachel Hollis, I further put it down into writing and created actual dreams and goal from it. So what she says to do is every quarter, every season, whenever you're feeling called to readjust these, so have the visualization of your future self, what you want your life to look like, what you want to prioritize, then create 10 dreams and 1 actionable goal. So yes, and you write these down, and you write them down every day. And it's, for me, my goal is always to do it first thing in the morning before my kids get up, but as you guys know, I have a 1.5-year-old who sometimes still, I feel like he can smell me when I wake up or something. He just knows. So sometimes he wakes up early, so I don't get to my journal when I want to. But I can do it later in the day. It does not take me long, 10 minutes. I write down those dreams again and that one goal that I'm currently working towards accomplishing. The other key point to that Rachel Hollis talks about is those 10 goals should be written in the way that you've already accomplished them. So one of my goals was that I visit a Spanish-speaking country every year. And I wrote that every day for 3 months. And as I'm writing it, as if it's already happened, my brain keeps thinking like, why am I not making this already happen? I know this is a life goal of mine. It has been a dream of mine for years. And I kept being like, oh, my kids need to be older, or when is this actually gonna happen, when it's gonna feel right? And then all of a sudden I was like, I think we should just start doing it. Like, what am I waiting for? I'm the only one who's standing in my way as far as making that dream come true. So, I'm sure you guys saw my stories. I secured a Airbnb in San Miguel de Allende in Mexico for next July, 2020, for the whole month. So my family and I are going to go there. So that's just an example of writing this goal every day and your brain really thinking about how am I going to make it happen. There's another goal or dream that I've been writing down every day, which is that I want to shoot 2 weddings. I'm going to put this out in the universe right now too, that I want to shoot 2 weddings a year in New Orleans. New Orleans, I went to school at Loyola University in New Orleans. I love New Orleans with every fiber of my being, and I've always kind of wanted to somehow, in a limitless world, I would live there one day. But I kind of started to think in my older age that I don't want to live in all these new places. I like being near family. I like our home in Austin, and I like the lifestyle that Austin provides. And so for me, it's like I don't have to live in a place like New Orleans, but I can incorporate it into my life in different ways. So if I go twice a year, bring my family one of those times, take my husband one of those times. How amazing is that to just have a place that's kind of like another location that I do events and weddings at all the time. So I've been writing this down in my Start Today journal every day that I want to shoot 2 weddings in New Orleans every year. I've been talking with someone about doing, a couple talented ladies, about doing a style shoot there, which is super exciting. Hello, welcome. But then all of a sudden, I received an email from a coordinator that I've worked with in New Orleans, because I've done a wedding in New Orleans before. And she said, one of my clients wants to book you. And it was like, what? Mind blown, right? That it was almost like I was putting that energy out into the world every day in the universe. And then it just came to me. So I think that there's power in that as well, right? Being very clear with the universe, God, powers that be, whatever you believe in, that this is what I want to happen in my life. And sometimes I feel like the universe responds with, got it, here you go. So that's another thing I love. So I do these goals every single day. And at first I was kind of like, I get it, and you kind of write it every day, and then you're like, oh, am I eventually going to stop? But I have found that I keep going, and maybe I don't do it every day. Maybe I skip a day. Sometimes I don't do the weekends, although I enjoy doing it, right? It helps me really connect back to myself and connect back to those dreams that I want to make happen. This is not someone else telling me that my business is supposed to hit $1 million. This is me saying that I want my life to be this, and this dream helps create that reality. So I enjoy writing those dreams every day. And it's a very simple exercise, which is also something I think I'm really drawn to, because I'm a mama. I do not have much time in my days. So really being able to, after I've done that first part of the work of the actual dreaming, writing the goals every day is super simple and fast, and feels like I'm reconnecting with my bigger picture of life in a very tangible, quick way, right? But we gotta be quick. So I think that's super powerful. So that's kind of what I do on a daily basis for my big picture dreaming on what, it's overexposing me again. I can't even handle the photographer in me is going crazy. So I apologize. So one of the other things I should mention this first, and just if anybody else is curious about the high performance planner. So as you know, I'm a big lover of Brendon Burchard's High Performance Habits right now. I think I learned about it first from Rachel Hollis, because she's also a big fan of it. But I got the book on Audible because I love listening to a good book on Audible. And then I decided I wanted to buy the book. And you can actually, once you bought the audiobook, he gives you an offer to pay for shipping, and you get the book for free. So I did that, and then of course he comes up with another offering of oh, you want my high performance planner? So since I'm a journal hoarder, I bought it. And I had heard Rachel Hollis say it was meaty, so I was kind of like nervous about it. But I have found that it's not as overwhelming as you would think. It does take more time than Rachel Hollis's, but as well, I think what's helped for me is don't overanalyze it. Don't think about it too much. Like, go through the exercise, let it spark ideas in your head, but don't think about an answer for 20 minutes, right? And nobody got time for that. So, what happens in your planner, right? So there's 2 pages per day, and there's supposed to be a morning exercise and an evening exercise. I did the evening exercise. I've only done this for 2 days, right? I've been doing the evening exercise. I did the evening exercise in the morning before I started my next day one. So it probably would be even more powerful if I did do it in the evening, but you know, I'm a mom of 2, and usually I'm doing dishes in the evening. So, well, I'm working on that. But he's got this morning mindset prompts, which are pretty powerful. So today's message to myself, which today's message that I wrote to myself was be focused, be grounded. And then it goes through your morning mindset. So one thing I can get excited about today is someone who needs me on my A game today is ... And a situation that might stress me out or trip me up today could be ... So it's really kind of cool to have these prompts. So it's like I'm not having to think of what questions I should ask myself in order to put myself in a good mindset in the morning. I've already got questions right here that I can quickly answer. And it just gets my brain working as far as, like one of them I really love. Someone I could surprise with a note, gift, or a sign of appreciation is ... I mean, how powerful is that to be already thinking in a serving mindset first thing in the morning? You know, I do all these like dreams and goals, and I'm like thinking about myself, and that's great. But really, right, like a lot of my goals have to do with like serving other people and how can I help other people. So being able to be prompted, you know, how can I surprise someone with a note? It just adds a little bit of magic, I think, to your day, which I think is important, right? Because we can be Groundhog Day sometimes. So today's top 3 goals and priorities, tasks that absolutely must be done today. And then it goes through like the hours in your day, and I kind of usually just like for different appointments that I have, or like say on Monday, yesterday, I had that I was going to work on my social media for the week, you know, starting at 9 a.m. and then I was going to call something that I have for the next hour, and I was going to do some Pomodoro 25-minute emails, you know, time frames within here as well. So, yeah, this has been really good so far, and I'm going to stick with it. So, but what I've been doing on a simpler thing up until I got this planner, and I'm still doing it because I really enjoy it, is I bought a beautiful planner from Target. I think a beautiful planner comes in handy, right? It makes you want to pick it up. So what I basically do is I write out in pencil what I'm going to do that day. So my big thing that's been helpful is to create an MIT, or a most important task of the day. So that may be to deliver a wedding, or it may be to do my coffee live on Tuesdays, or it may be to plan a shoot for this, and this. So I'll just write down basically one item, my one MIT for that day. And that is what I do first thing in the morning. So before I even open my emails, I want to be accomplishing and working towards that MIT. And that is huge, right? So like one task, and it better be achievable. So let's take, for example, yesterday I had an MIT that was too big. It just needed more time than I had in my day to give, and I basically set myself up for failure by giving myself an MIT. I needed to, if it's gonna take longer than 3 hours, it needs to be broken up into bite-sized pieces that can actually be accomplished that day, right? Because part of the thing I feel like to feeling accomplished and to feeling productive is setting achievable expectations for myself. If I tell myself I'm going to do this, and this for the day, but really each one of those projects should have its own day, then I'm just setting myself up to be sad and, you know, feeling overwhelmed and feeling like I'm not getting anything done. So I did that to myself yesterday. I'm not going to do that to myself today. Actually, I'm doing my coffee live right now, so I have accomplished my MIT for the day. What? Love it. And that's really it. And then of course, I'm a pen and paper kind of gal, so I write this all down, and then I take a red skinny Sharpie and I cross it out when it's done, and it makes me feel like a rock star when I've done it. So, setting your priorities for the week, being conscious of setting achievable goals and how long each of that goals are gonna take, being realistic, I think is super helpful for me. And the last one I just said is create a due date for yourselves. So I do have certain projects. I don't know if you guys ever have these projects. Please tell me you do, so that I don't feel like the lone man out right here. But I have these projects that sometimes I'll put on my calendar, and sometimes it'll even be the MIT, and I'll get distracted, like, oh, I really need to do this today when I wake up in the morning. And I shoot myself in the foot because I start doing that thing because I've told myself it's a priority over my most important task of the day, this one task, and so that task gets moved to another day, and another day, and another day, and another day, and then I just never achieve it. So I've had a task like that, truth time, but a task like that I think might have been my MIT for 3 days, and my brain keeps creating like fire alarms those days for other things I need to be doing. So that tells me that there's some resistance there, and that I have some internal work I need to do to accomplish that task. And also, what I'm working towards, and Brendan Bouchard talks about this, but creating an actual due date for myself. So I tried that with one of my projects that I kept pushing out of the way. I have a due date, and I've been doing good. I've been working towards it. So fingers crossed that it actually gets accomplished. Hello, Brock & Co. How are you guys doing today? Are you all, I did a wedding with Brock & Co., a beautiful wedding this weekend at the Driscoll Hotel, and it was gorgeous, and we were exhausted afterward. So hopefully you guys are refreshed now. So yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about today. I just really wanted to go into the specifics of what I'm currently doing to create goals and be productive, to feel productive. And yeah, so thanks you guys for joining me. I want to hear what you are doing. Please DM me. Please send me an email, info@juliewilhite.com. I want to hear what you're doing. And I want to hear if there's a planner that if I'm just totally missing out on something that would change my life. So please enlighten me. I geek out on this stuff, right? It's like, how can I achieve more goals and feel even more productive? And I'm kind of learning that, setting goals that I can actually achieve is the key to feeling productive. Not just like changing the amount of work that you're doing, but actually setting yourself up in your mind for success, giving yourself an achievable goal for the day. It allows yourself to celebrate yourself rather than beat yourself up. Because we all know that beating yourself up, ain't nobody got time for that. All right, so have a beautiful Tuesday. Enjoy the sunshine, stay cool, and I will see you next week. And if you want to learn more about this, it's in my newsletter this week, so just go to my website, scroll down, put your email in, and I will send you some love and more information. All right, talk to you guys soon. Bye.